Here are 6 investing principles that everybody should know and apply in their investing journey. Let's begin. Principle 1. Have a long-term perspective. The stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient. This has been Warren Buffett's long-standing advice to highlight the importance of having a long-term perspective in investing. So right off the bat, forget about any get-rich-quick schemes which come in the form of meme stocks, the next big thing, or actual get-rich-quick schemes as you might see in crypto. You need to resist the charm of trying to time the market and recognize that consistent long-term investing often outperforms attempts to predict the short-term market movements. The reality is that even the biggest fund managers can't time the market. In fact, 90% of them can't beat the S&P 500 over the long run. For the average investor like you and me, statistics show that the reliable path is to have a big portion of your investment in something like the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF over an extended period of time. The historical performance of this index combined with compound effect is an investor's best friend. To follow this principle, you need to stay the course and not get swayed by short-term market fluctuations. It takes time, but this principle is foundational to our investing journey. But how much fluctuation you can stomach takes us to principle 2. Assess your risk tolerance for proper asset allocation. Successful investing is about managing risk, not avoiding it. These are the words of Benjamin Graham, widely known as the father of value investing. This is to highlight the pivotal role of aligning asset allocation to your individual risk tolerance. This means before investing, you need to go on a journey of self-assessment, or ideally, you should consult your financial advisor. You can see risk versus allocation in action on this tool by Schwab. In general, if you're comfortable with risk, you might allocate more to individual stocks, and if you're risk averse, you might lean towards gold or ETFs. Just make sure you understand the asset and the reasons why you're investing in it. But remember, this principle relies on your understanding that investing and risk go hand in hand. But if you understand inflation, you know that the bigger risk is holding on to just cash all your life. To dive further into asset allocation, we need to look at principle 3. Study diversification and avoid overconcentration. As long as you're picking a few great companies and you're not spread into 50 different stocks, I think that's perfectly fine. These are the words of Peter Lynch, former fund manager at Fidelity. This is talking about the careful balance between diversification and overconcentration. Often we see people buy every other company that they hear about and scream diversification, but over-diversification carries risks as well. It can reduce your returns and make it impossible for you to keep track of your investments. At the same time, it's quite obvious that overconcentration is taking on too much risk. If you hold a mix of technology stocks, you are still overconcentrated in a single industry. You would be better off finding some winners in different industries. By keeping your portfolio small and achieving the right balance, you can minimize risk and maximize returns. Yes, this is quite hard to achieve and can take years to master, and again requires stock picking, which in the long run can indeed hurt you. And as evidence suggests, it's also quite impossible to beat S&P 500 over the long run. So if you do want diversification and a reliable history of returns, the S&P 500 ETF might be the way to go. Start with the S&P 500, and as you learn more, you can take control of your portfolio. Retail investors should focus on this principle to recognize how hard it is to balance a portfolio. But talking about finding the right companies brings us to principle 4. Conduct due diligence and research. Investing without research is like playing poker and never looking at the cards. Again, wise words from Peter Lynch. Finding the right companies relies on the indispensable role of due diligence, and this principle teaches us to thoroughly investigate any potential investment. This requires understanding the financial health, management competence, and growth prospects before investing. In today's world of social media and hype-based investing, this has become extremely important. At the same time, we have access to some of the best resources and tools to perform research. Applying this principle to an example, let's say we are evaluating a tech company. Beyond the stock's recent performance, we need to look at past earnings, financial health, its competitive position, scrutinize management's strategic vision, and so much more. This principle highlights that informed decisions form the bedrock for successful investing. Even if you do everything we have discussed so far, you need principle 5, monitor and rebalance regularly. Opportunities come infrequently. When it rains gold, put out the bucket, not the thimble. This is the advice of Warren Buffett. This principle urges investors to stay vigilant and adjust their allocations in response to changing market conditions. This is to highlight how important it is to monitor the holdings in your portfolio. You should also be ready to sit on the sidelines and wait patiently when the market conditions are changing. Having a plan will help you avoid buying dips all the way to the bottom. And even if things get bad, you have little to worry about because you stuck to your plans and bought the right assets. When in doubt, stick to a dollar cost average strategy where you allocate a fixed amount on a schedule and just DCA into your favorite assets. I do this with the S&P 500 but have a more principled approach when it comes to individual companies. However, this principle teaches you the importance of proactive monitoring and periodic adjustments for long-term success in investing. To stick to the 5 investing principles discussed so far and act according to your plan, you need Principle 6. Learn to control your emotions. The investor's chief problem, even his worst enemy, is likely to be himself. A caution issued by Benjamin Graham. The main driver behind people buying at market peaks and selling at market bottoms is often emotional investing, which is fueled by either greed or fear. Plus, underestimating the risks associated with your investments will make you act irrationally during tough times. Trust me, no one is safe from this phenomenon. One reason is that the sentiment in the world, especially the mainstream media, tends to get extremely bullish during market upswings and extremely bearish during market downturns. Both play a role in messing with your psyche. You must learn to take control of your emotions, and it can take years to master. After years in the market, when things get extremely bearish, I have this weird feeling in my stomach which I need to fight and stick to my plan. Again, to counteract emotional decision making, have a plan, dollar cost average into good assets, and make sure you are well diversified. When you have done your research and have a high conviction, your emotions run low, and that is the key takeaway from this principle. These were just the 6 basic principles of investing, and there's so much more to share. So subscribe and let's dive deeper into some of these concepts in the future. Till then, keep learning and stay on top of your finances. Until next time.